Hey, fight fans, welcome back to Carl Perza MMA. We got a treat for you today. We got the number 9 flyweight in the world. She is Miss Jasmine Jasduavicus, coming off of a big win in Saudi Arabia. Jazz, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great. Last time out, obviously, Saudi Arabia picked up a big win, ticked off a very tough opponent, Mayer Bueno Silva. What is that feeling like now? Are you still riding that momentum?
Yeah, I already have another fight booked, so I'm like kind of already almost forgetting about that one and just kind of on to the next one and keep this ball rolling.
Obviously, you've talked about the contest book. Big contest coming up. You get a fight in Canada, taking on Jessica Andrade. When you were pitched that name, was that super excitement from the get go?
Yeah, I was very excited. She's been a former champ in my weight class. The last girl I was just like that I fought, Bueno Silva, was like a contender. She was never champ. Like this girl was a champ in my weight class, so beating her would show a lot and hopefully put me up where I need to be having a fight to be able to get that belt.
So you got to go to the press conference here a couple weeks ago. You got to sit there with Valentina and the rest of the card. What was that experience like for you?
That was all. It was so cool. It was honestly amazing. I got to be like close to the belt. I got to see Valentina, kind of get a feel for her energy, and also Faro too. Like she's in the weight class, and so it was cool to experience. Like the whole media and the whole day of it, it kind of felt like a bit of a dry run for when I get to do it for the belt.
You got to have a little exchange there with Valentina. Nothing bad, very pleasant. But did that really reinforce the fact that you're close? You're close to being in that headlining position?
Yeah, just the fact that like my name's even being brought up, that I'm even invited to the conference, like just kind of gets me excited. Shows that I'm making a name within the sport, and like I'm just like proud to be able to represent Canada and like be up there showing myself in like the premier organization.
Obviously, just mentioned representing Canada. If you really look in the past 15, 20 years, Canadian mixed martial arts has expanded so much, the growth, the evolution of it. Now there's so many great Canadian fighters. In your time being involved in the sport, how have you seen Canadian MMA evolve?
It's definitely grown so much. I felt it like a lot once I got into the UFC. I feel like a lot of girls started coming around, more girls training, and like it was it was really great for me to have girl partners. I didn't have girl partners for most of my career, and to have like the solid group that I have now, it's absolutely unbelievable. I've got like 8 girls that are dedicated, hardworking, very skilled, that are pushing me every day, and I'm blessed to have them.
Obviously, you train over at the Niagara top team, some great talents there. Obviously, yourself, you have Mike Malott there, you have Siri there, you have so many great fighters. What's that dynamic like? What's it like training with those guys every single day?
It's awesome training with them. Like Mikey, he's a encyclopedia of knowledge. Anything that you've ever thought of with martial arts, he's already thought of it and like found the answer. So I feel like I could use him to like fast track a lot of things. And then Siri is just like such an inspiration to watch. He always is like doing everything right. He's like training hard and he's like young in the sport, and it's just like so cool, so inspiring, and to be in the room with those guys and to kind of reach our potential all together.
Absolutely. You've been on quite the hot streak lately. A nice little win streak going for you. Don't want to harp on the loss too much with that Tracy Cortez fight. Since then, you've been on an absolute roll. What were some of the takeaways? Maybe do you think any of that has led to some success lately?
Defense. I before I would just fight, I'd be just like whatever, man. I know I can take a pretty good punch, and so her power, I felt it on my arm. I'm like, oh, this doesn't scare me, but no free shots. You take a bad shot, and it changes the outcome of the fight, unfortunately. But I've learned a lot. Without that, I probably wouldn't have the defense that I do. Against Bueno Silva, I had a little bruise here, a little bruise here. That's it. So, and she's like one of the you know best strikers, biggest strikers. She's coming down from 35 in, around the UFC. So, if I can walk out of a fight with only damage like that from her, I must be doing all right.
Over the years, we've seen some great Canadian fighters, but I don't think we've really seen that premier dominant Canadian women fighter. And I really think you're becoming that name. Are you starting to really feel the hype? Are you feeling it on social media? Are you getting recognized more? Do you feel the progress?
Yeah, I do. It's like very like funny and interesting when I get recognized. Like when I flew home from Saudi Arabia, I landed and like when I was picking up my car and park and fly, a guy's like, "Oh, are you Jasmine? I was just reading about you on the plane ride." Oh, I was just like, "No way!" Like it's really cool and it's like inspiring for me because it forces me to hold myself accountable and to like make sure I'm like holding the standard that I've set for myself.
Mixed martial arts has evolved so much. 15, 20 years ago, people were calling it like human cockfighting. It wasn't like legal at every single place. And now you really see it as mainstream as hockey and baseball. And I think something we're really seeing is the entertainment and personality side now. You're really seeing guys who put on a facade. There's people they're not because they know they're going to get title fights. They know they're going to sell tickets. You've been someone who's always been yourself. How do you think personality has impacted mixed martial arts?
I think like to be a champion, you have to kind of like have the characteristics of a champion, and I think being unauthentic is kind of like a detriment. I feel like that's not your true self, and you have to be authentic. You have to be your true self, and like sometimes I I think if you're faking it, people can feel it, and then they don't really get behind you. You're not being supported like I am very fortunate to have. I have very loyal fans that I think genuinely like me. For me, they're not just like bandwagon fans, and so I think the authenticity that I bring is why people feel like they can kind of relate. They know how I feel when I'm like getting pissed off and stuff.
You're taking on Jessica Andrade, as you mentioned a little earlier. Overall, what do you think of her as an opponent?
I think she's obviously like tough. Everyone that we're fighting now is going to be tough. She's like a heavy hitter, and I think she's solid. But I think I'm good. I think I'm tough. Like it's a fight, and I'm confident. I've trained with girls from all over the world, and I'm looking forward to getting in the octagon and testing myself against somebody who's proved to be one of the best in the world. So I look forward to show kind of like showing myself what I have.
Right now, obviously number 9 ranked with a win over Andrade. Do you feel that puts you maybe a fight away for a title shot?
I think so. I mean, I hope so. Natalia Silva just got the a title fight off of beating her, so I hope that I can do the same.
Absolutely. We were talking about a little bit earlier about the entertainment era in mixed martial arts. And I think a byproduct of that is something you call the casual fans. These are the type of people, they're usually drunk. They like to say a lot of obscenities. It's hard to watch fights with them at bars. They'd like to go like twist them and you know what, and all this crazy stuff. Overall, what do you think of these people?
They're casual fans. Like I just think like, okay, they are at some job, whatever job it may be. I'm not watching them at their job, and if they make one mistake, be like, "You fucking idiot! You're trash! You should fucking quit your job." You know what I mean? Like the repercussions in my job are sucky. They suck. Like I'm not doing that to you, so don't do that to me.
No, obviously with this big fight, you get to do it in Canada. Is it always awesome when you get to fight in UFC in front of the Canadian fans?
It's so amazing. I absolutely love fighting in front of Canada. I truly feel like when I walk out and like the my song comes on and the fans start cheering, I always choose a song that I believe will get the fans going. And I walk out, I see the fans, we start high fiving. I feel like I literally have like Canada on my back going into the octagon. So I'm so like proud to be kind of like the person going in there and representing how we all feel in this country.
Absolutely. All right, Jazz. Last question for you. In a perfect world, what is the outcome when you take on Jessica Andrade?
First round finish, me get my hand raised 1 minute in, like some Conor McGregor style, like knock her out in like first 10 seconds. That's the dream.
Awesome. Well, hey, Jazz, thank you so much for taking time out of your training to talk to me. Absolute honor, and I can't wait to watch you fight, Jess.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. That's it for us tonight. I'm Carl Prusa. That is Jasmine Jasduavicus taking on Jessica Andrade in Canada. Stick around, fight fans.